In the last episode, we review the lifting platform of the Leopard 50, we explore Staniel Key Yacht Club and the charming town, and have another close encounter with sharks. In this episode, we do a review of the front cockpit and investigate whether it's really safe for ocean crossings. We find swimming pigs and we explore the James Bond underwater Thunderball Grotto.
We're going to Pig Beach, which is on Big Major's Island. The swimming pigs.
Okay, so we got up fairly early, so hopefully we'll beat the crowd. Have to be careful of these guys because they do get a bit nippy, so they get like a little aggressive.
We don't know if they're awake yet.
As soon as they hear the motors, they'll probably wake up. Yeah, this is Pig Beach right here. Oh, there's one right there. There's a big one. There's a famous one. Now they will swim out to the... Doesn't look like he wants to swim too far out. Yeah.
Oh, we can't find it.
Keep backing. Oh, here comes another one.
There, got it.
Big fella. He's very good looking. He was very good looking. Oh, he does not know sit, honey.
And in here, all the names of the pigs. Daisy, Big Mama Maggie, Half-Caste John, Dumpling. There's a rooster, Captain Hook. Baby Pebbles, Milkshake, Roosevelt, Kenzo, Wolf, Jules, Ming Lee, Shirley, Oliver and Ming. Here we are on a little beach, but we've just come through a gap in the rocks, and look at this. This is the tide going out, and you can see the water level on the left is, I don't know, 6 inches foot, but it's like a fast flowing river running out through the gap in the rocks, and that's how you get such strong tidal currents in the Exumas and the other islands around the Bahamas, because as the tide rises, all the water on the banks has to flow out through the islands and get out to the sea, which is out there past my honey. But it's really, really beautiful here. And the beaches are pretty good too, aren't they, honey?
Sorry?
What a beautiful view, and the beaches are beautiful too.
It just keeps getting better and better. It's just magic.
So, is this nice? Are we close enough?
This is just beautiful. You really should come and join me. There's a siren right there beckoning the sailors to their doom.
So here, on the shoreline, we have one medium-sized crab. But I think it's been hit by something and it just died. We will leave him to the ocean. Okay everybody, today what we want to do is a review of the front cockpit, give you some information about is it really safe. I first saw these front cockpits when they were first brought out over a decade ago, and what was your feeling about it?
My initial feeling was, oh, you know, what a fantastic idea. Why didn't anybody think of this before? And then you start thinking of logistics, like, okay, well, how safe is it?
Yeah, my first thought was, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, you know, because I had images of, in our last boat, Alberdash, which is a performance cat, we would be going along at 12 to 15 knots, take off the front of one wave, plow through the bottom of the next wave, green water coming up over the whole boat, over the cabin top and drenching us in the cockpit. And I'm thinking, if something like that happens and you've got a front cockpit, you're going to just, first of all, be buffeted by this sudden pump of water, but also you're going to have to try and get rid of that water out of your cockpit, which is just sitting there. But I had serious concerns. So, like a conservative person, we watched and waited. And saw what happened. And over the years, we discovered more and more boats. These leopard cats were being delivered from South Africa on their own bottoms across to the Caribbean, to the Mediterranean and to Australia, so the worst waters in the world, and they were all getting there fine.
And we did speak to a lot of people that delivered the boats, you know, from one port to the other, and they said it's not a problem. Even when they do have big waves come up over the top, it washes away very quickly, and it's amazing.
Yeah, so the practical advice we're being given by the people that actually use them was all very positive, so that was very reassuring. But let's talk about the pros and the cons.
Well, I fell in love with it straight away, because what happens when you're
Just like me, honey.
particularly when you're sailing in the tropics, for instance. You have, you put your anchor down, you're ready for a sundowner, you just want to sit and really, enjoy where you are. And the sun's beating in on you on the back cockpit, and there's nowhere to go unless you go out on the beach or something like that.
If you're sitting in the southeasterly trade winds in the tropics, which is where it's usually coming from, when the sun goes down in the west, your back cockpit is in full sun. Even if you've got a targa bar, you've either got to drop all your drop downs down and have no ventilation, or you've got to sit in the sun, and that is just awful. So this is perfect. But the second thing is it has complete cover with a roof, so you're in the shade. Now we keep on banging on about shade and skin cancer and keeping out of the sun,
and that's for reasons, because John, one of his qualifications, one of his specialties is in skin and skin cancer.
I mean, we lived in the tropics in Queensland where 2 out of 3 people get skin cancer in the community. So, I was cutting out skin cancers probably every day, and sometimes 3 or 4 in a day.
And we'd have to educate people about keeping safe while still enjoying their environment.
The sun damage over the time not only gives you skin cancer, it also gives you wrinkles and makes you go craggy and old. So
very unattractive.
So, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of vanity, but it's also a very, very down-to-earth practicalities. So we want shade. This front cockpit is absolutely wonderful for keeping you in the shade, and in our cockpit in the front there, we can either sit at the table, and we've also got cushions alongside the seating area where we can lounge with a cushion and relax fully stretched out and be in the shade, which is just so wonderful. And because you're at the front of the boat, if you're at anchor, the breeze is blowing onto you, so you're having a cooling, refreshing, nice temperature.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's really wonderful. The other thing I really love about it would be really the safety feature about it, where
safety.
If you're on passage or you're sailing somewhere and you want to get from the stern to the bow, traditionally you would have to go out and around the side decks, hanging on, particularly if it's quite rough. You can easily get from the back to the front, going straight through, and you don't even have to go outside. You're in complete safety. So particularly if you're on night watches and things like that, when you want to see what's ahead of you and you don't want to have to get out and around the deck, it's just brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, so the safety thing is a really significant issue in bad weather, but also at night. If you're on watch by yourself, I mean, Elizabeth was bringing up there about the ease of visibility. So one of the other benefits is sitting in the front cockpit, you can really nicely sit there and watch your boat sailing along, whether it's under sail or under motor, and look for traffic and be very comfortable.
And have this view, like you have, an uninterrupted view. You're not kind of like trying to peer through windows and it's phenomenal.
It's
isn't
absolutely great.
The other thing that I really love, because I sort of often love things differently to John or see things differently, is it's another area where you can sit and have a meal, or if you've got a full boat, for instance, and you've got a bunch of people, it's really nice to be able to break away and get away on your own. And this is a really lovely little intimate area where you can pull up a chair, have a sundowner out there, and or a coffee or whatever it is your poison is, and just relax and have a time out there. It's just really beautiful. Actually, in here too, it feels quite private because you've got these little solid side bits here. So while you're sitting here, you don't feel like every man his dog are watching you sit having a nice wine or having a chat or whatever. So it does feel. And the other thing you can do is you can actually drive from the cockpit.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So with the remote control on the auto helm, you can be sitting in the front cockpit, and if you want to alter direction, you can. That's really great.
It's very civilized.
So one of the other great benefits of the front cockpit is that when you've got the engine running, you can steer the boat from the front cockpit and be away from the engine noise. And so in the front cockpit, you don't hear it at all. You can be sitting there in absolute peace and quiet, even though the engines are pushing the boat if you're having to motor.
It's marvellous. You can almost pretend that you're sailing. Let's talk about the safety. Is it really? what they say it is. I mean, seriously, does it drain away in 40 seconds or so? You know, it's pretty hard to believe.
It is. Really, my gut feeling with this was that this isn't possible.
Disbeliever!
I know, I'm thinking, my brain is just telling me, no, this can't be safe. This just defies logic, really, and intuition. Okay.
We had to find out for ourselves.
Yeah. So we did the research, looked at all the safety stats about the boat, the front cockpit itself. Getting down to the nitty-gritty and the stats, the front cockpit will drain in 45 seconds. And the way they do that is they have drainage. It's not drainage holes, it's actually the whole of the edge of the cockpit cockpit floor has a gap where the water will flow down and then out through the bridge deck. So it's not just a single or a couple of holes, it's the whole side of the cockpit floor has a gap which allows the water to flow exceptionally fast. Certainly we have been in rough water and we have had water over into the front deck, and it's always drained very fast. We've never been able to see any water ever pooling there.
What's it supposed to do?
So the international standards for the drainage requirements is that 90% of the volume has to drain in 5 minutes, and the American standards from the American Boat and Yacht Council are that 75% of the water has to drain in 90 seconds. So clearly, if this cockpit drains in 45 seconds, it's way better than those standards. So this is phenomenally good and reassuring for everybody. It's also reached an ISO standard 12217 standard for safety and design, and it's been properly tested independently and achieved those safety standards. So again, this is very reassuring to anybody looking to buy the boat. The safety of the front cockpit is assured. These boats have been sailing with these front cockpits now for probably 15 years, I think. I don't know exactly,
maybe not that long,
but certainly over 10, and it works very well.
Let's talk about the door. The doors at the front of the cockpit isn't really a door as such, is it?
No, it's actually built as a proper boat hatch, so it's completely sealing. It's got 3 very strong levers that jam the door closed against rubber seals. So this is a waterproof hatch, in the same way as you stop water going into bulkheads in big ships, and the perspex is really thick and very strong.
I'm very pleased to say that we were a bit dubious many years ago, but we kept our mouth shut and we just watched and waited.
We didn't judge.
We didn't judge because, hey, we didn't have all of the information at the time, and to really make a judgment, you really need to try it out for yourself. So we took the plunge, and we bought the Leopard, and my rating for the front cockpit is definitely a thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely 2 thumbs up again for the front cockpit. This does improve quality of life, not only because of the seating area, but because of the lounging area. I mean, one of the things we wanted on our boat was a day bed, and that isn't normally produced in boats commonly, and here we have an area where both of us can lie there together.
In the shade,
be supported, watch the boat sailing, be cool and be comfortable, and it's absolutely great. So yeah, absolutely, front cockpit is a unique feature of the Leopard 50s. Let that plane pass.
Sounds like that, doesn't it? Anyone with PTSD from the war is going to be ducking and weaving.
The front cockpit is a unique feature of the Leopard Catamaran, so this really is a significant selling feature and one of the major benefits that I would say why we chose our Leopard. And at the end of the day, it's up to you guys what sort of boat you want to buy. Quality of life because of that front cockpit is just spectacular. Yeah.
We think it's marvellous. Just let it be known that Leopard was the innovator here. We don't get paid for this. Seriously.
No, we don't.
But we just have done our research over the years, and so we're very happy to say that we love it.
Yep.
Hope this has been beneficial, and if you have really liked this episode, subscribe if you're new here, ding the like button and the notification button, so that really
helps the channel.
Makes us feel loved.
Okay guys, see you later.
So we're going to Thunderball. So there was a scene in James Bond's movie that they took this from, so that's where we are.
Is there any way to walk into it or walk on top of it? Oh, you can actually go and walk up, yeah. Climb.
Have you been in? Yeah?
Look at the colours over there. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's like all green. I don't know if that's reflected off. Is that reflected off the water or?
I don't know.
It's like multicoloured artificial colourings, isn't it? That's amazing.
Look, the lights.
So there seem to be three entrances to the Thunderball Grotto. This one is on the east side, big low flat one and fairly short entrance. There's two on the west side, one is very narrow and the other is quite wide. So the narrow one you can only get in by swimming under the water, but it's not very far. It's only probably about 5 meters at the most. Biggest problem you've got to watch for as you come up out the water, it looks like you're all clear, but you hit your head on the rock. So make sure when you go up, keep your hand above your head. So, yeah, so obviously as the tide changes, the currents will flow in different directions. But I'll just go under the water and show you what it's like going into the grotto underwater. So you see down there to the right, big wide opening, easy entrance on that side, and on the left here, which is more to the south, on the west side, is the narrow opening that seems to be underwater almost all the time. Great fish in here, but you've got to come at low tide.
If you have liked this episode, hit the like button, subscribe for free, and ding the dong so you don't miss your fix of the next exciting episode. Love and health from the Barefoot Doctors.